Okay, why all? It looks like Harvey is sick and tired of the narrative they've been spreading about her, talking about how she's a 304 who uses men. She is setting the record straight. Allegedly, she is being set up by Steve. Why all know these allegations about how Steve was allegedly at these Diddy parties? Well, Lori is now saying that not only was Steve at the parties, but he was allegedly caught on tape doing some freaky stuff, if you know what I mean. Why all Lori is over the BS, and she is now speaking her truth. Why all better sit down for this because Lori is here to spill all the tea. Did Steve really pimp her out to Diddy to cover his own tracks? Let's break this down. It looks like Lori is finally turning on her stepdad, Steve Harvey, and exposing his affair with Diddy. She claims that Steve was allegedly a common face at Diddy's freak-off parties and is on those tapes that were seized by Homeland Security during the raid on Diddy's houses back in March. But not only that, it looks like she's claiming that Steve allegedly tried to pimp her out to Diddy to hide his secret shenanigans with Diddy himself. And listen, when I tell why all this is crazy. Low-key, this isn't really that shocking though, because a lot of people thought it was pretty clear over the years that he treats Lori better than the other kids, even his biological kids. I mean, she was the only one that he used to take on these father-daughter dates. On one of our annual father-daughter dates to my favorite Japanese restaurant, you just started talking to me about guys and you just told me that you always supported me and you'd always be there for me, no matter what, and you loved me unconditionally. But when it came to his twin girls, it was crickets from him. Not only did they not go on father-daughter dates with him, but he couldn't even be bothered to attend their graduation. An insider said, "I went to high school with the twins. They were a few years ahead of me, but people always talked and all eyes were on them because of who their father was. He wasn't present at their graduation." And it wasn't only the twins that got ignored because he was basically a deadbeat dad to his son, Broderick. For the first 16 years of his life, I didn't really have my dad full-time in my life until I was 16, he said. And don't even get me started on his second son, Winton, and how he literally got investigated by police and CPS for putting hands on him to the point where he couldn't sit, according to TMZ. According to the kids, Steve hit him with a belt and then a paddleboard, the kind used for hazing in fraternities. According to the police report, cops took photos of the boy's injuries, bruises on his buttocks and right thigh, as well as cuts on his leg. The police report says that the boy told cops the beating was so brutal he had trouble urinating for days. Why all? That was just sad. After the initial buzz, the case gradually faded into obscurity, and there were allegations suggesting that Steve had greased the palms of authorities to sweep this case under the rug, leading to the case just dying off. This left many people wondering why Lori received preferential treatment. Some speculate it was because of her good looks, with Steve viewing her as a valuable asset that he could exploit, his moneymaker of sorts. Why all remember the envy Steve's other children harbored when Lori's romantic escapades were everywhere in the news and pushing her career forward. Insider accounts revealed Steve's role in orchestrating Lori's love life. He didn't just dabble in meddling, he allegedly orchestrated her relationships, actively pimping her to various suitors. And here's the kicker: one of the lucky beneficiaries of Steve's matchmaking prowess was none other than Diddy. Let's rewind to 2019 when Lori and Diddy's unexpected romance caught everybody off guard, even folks scratching their heads in confusion with the whopping 28-year age gap between them. It seemed unlikely that they had much in common. I mean, what did they even talk about? As if the age gap wasn't eyebrow-raising enough, things took a darker turn when you consider that Diddy had a 5-year-old son when Lori was born. Wrap your head around that. Well, Diddy's son was older than his dad's new boo thing. But it gets much creepier because it turns out that Diddy had known Lori since she was a teenager. According to insiders, Diddy and Steve frequented the same social circles, so while they weren't exactly besties, they did know each other very well. This meant that Diddy knew Lori when she was still a minor, and yet he entered into a romantic relationship with her years later. And here's the kicker: Lori wasn't exactly a willing participant. According to sources, Steve allegedly forced her into Diddy's arms, seeing it as an opportunity to further elevate the Harvey family name and hide their affair. But at the time, we didn't know the shady truth about the relationship, so everybody fully expected Steve to intervene and put an end to this creepy situation. Yet, much to our surprise and chagrin, he didn't. Instead, he and Marjorie gave their seal of approval by joining Diddy and Lori on a romantic getaway. Approving of your 22-year-old daughter dating a 50-year-old is one thing, but going on vacation with them? Yeah, that's a whole other level. But according to reports, Steve was allegedly the one who was on vacation with Diddy and used Lori as a distraction. However, some insiders weren't shocked at Steve and Marjorie's actions because allegedly they had been set up with Diddy for some time. The opportunity finally arose after the passing of Kim Porter. You see, Lori and Kim shared a close bond when she was alive, and even after Kim's passing, Lori paid heartfelt tributes to her on social media. She wrote, "Having a hard time processing this one. You were such a beautiful person inside and out. I'm so glad I told you how much I loved and missed you the last time I saw you. Your energy was truly something special, an angel on earth and now in heaven. Rip Mama." Well, given Lori's friendship with Kim Porter, as she referred to her as Mama Kim, it's crazy that she entered into a relationship with Diddy less than 4 or 5 months after Kim's passing. Like, what kind of friend are you? Oh, with friends like that, who needs enemies, right? But according to reports, Lori isn't quite the villain portrayed by the media, rather. It's Steve who's pulling all the strings behind the scenes. There are even allegations that suggest Steve coerced Lori into deleting her tribute to Kim Porter because it showed her in a negative light, which he didn't want. But there's more to this tale than meets the eye, and it involves nail polish. Yes, you read that correctly. Now, if you've listened to my other videos, you know exactly why, but I'll break it down for the newcomers as long as you subscribe. Amidst all the chaos, Lori's nail polish caught fans' eyes, and it's not for making a bold fashion statement. No ma am. Every time Lori made a public appearance with Diddy, eagle-eyed fans couldn't help but notice her nails were painted in white nail polish. Now, why is this seemingly innocent detail significant? Well, as it turns out, Cassie spilled the tea in her lawsuit, revealing that Diddy had a particular fondness for white nail polish. But it wasn't merely a quirky fashion preference. No. According to Cassie, Diddy insisted she wear white nails because he enjoyed the stark contrast against the dark skin of the male escorts he allegedly arranged for her. And Cassie wasn't the only one who wore white nails. Rumors began circulating that Diddy had a similar nail fixation with Young Miami. Even weirder, his own mother wore white nail polish too. Whenever they were seen with him, this led to speculations that Miami could possibly be involved in Diddy's peculiar trend too, if you know what I mean. And why his mama was wearing white nail polish. I don't even want to think about why that is. But with Lori wearing her white nails during her time with Diddy, things took a weird turn when she stopped wearing the white nail polish after the breakup. This prompted fans to speculate that she might have witnessed or endured some seriously shady experiences while with Diddy. However, according to a source, Steve seemed unperturbed by whatever Lori may have experienced with Diddy. As long as she remained in that limelight and connected to him, Steve appeared to be fully supportive. But hold on to your butts, because another insider also dropped a bombshell claiming that Steve attempted to broker a deal for Lori with Jay-Z. Allegedly, this revelation sent shockwaves throughout social media, with many blasting Lori for supposedly trying to cozy up to Jay-Z. However, according to the insider, it was Steve who orchestrated the entire affair from behind the scenes. Let's rewind to 2019 when this all went down. Jay-Z invited Harvey to a Rock Nation brunch. Now, when Jay-Z calls you to the Rock Nation brunch, you got to drop everything and make sure you're there. The event boasted a star-studded guest list, as one would expect from anything associated with Jay-Z. Well, Lori graciously accepted the invite and turned heads as she arrived looking like $1,000,000. But it wasn't her outfit that set tongues wagging. Rather, it was a clip that she shared on her Instagram stories that had everybody buzzing. In the now infamous video, Lori can be seen engaged in conversation with Jay-Z. However, according to many observers, Jay-Z seemed to be talking to her while she appeared to be flirting back, with her head tilted ever so slightly to the side and laughing at all of Jay-Z's words. Fans interpreted this as classic flirting behavior. When Lori shared the video featuring herself with Beyoncé's husband, the Bayhive erupted into a frenzy. One thing about Miss Queen Bee's Bayhive is their solid loyalty to Beyoncé, and they wasted no time flooding Lori's Instagram comments with the bee emoji, the symbol of the Bayhive, as Beyoncé is affectionately known as the Queen Bee. The intense backlash from the Bayhive was the primary reason Steve decided to pull the plug on the mission involving Jay-Z. Well, it looks like Lori is sick and tired of Steve manipulating her and making her look bad, so she is finally exposing him and trying to take control of her life and narrative. While Steve is not going to like this, especially after going above and beyond to get his involvement with Diddy covered up. Well, the fans have been having all types of speculations, and they've been leaving comments saying, "I've been said Steve was pimping that child out. Ain't no way she ran through that many men and no one is good enough. She was smart and got away from Puffy quick, fast, in a hurry." Either Steve doesn't have a say, or he's all about material things and status. He probably thought a job or marriage would come out of that since she's not in a list. No sane parent would let their child who's barely an adult date a dangerous 50-year-old man like that, especially after hearing the rumors about Kim's death and Diddy. It's crazy he dated someone who dated his son, and Steve approving of that was creepy as fudge. But I need to know why y'all feel about this. Do you really think that Lori's going to take a stance in her love life and stop getting pimped out, or do you think that she's all with it as long as it benefits her career?